Welcome to Health Unfiltered, the podcast where we cut through the bullshit and get honest about nutrition, exercise, and mental wellness.
All right, we're rolling. We got Shaun Spencer here with us today. Shaun, you want to tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are now?
Sure. I have a very colorful and unique background. So, started off my early years as athlete, like a lot of kids, and I was a initially a basketball player, and then I by accident ended up running track. So, and then of course by another accident, I ended up running professionally, and so I was a professional athlete, first of all, track and field athlete. I was a long jumper. And I was also a coach for Division II, in which I won a championship. So a lot of my background is based into growing up as a military kid that was an athlete that was trying to avoid the street element within the community. So sports, church are like the two things that kind of had me with one foot in, one foot out type of thing. But sports is what saved my life. So going forward, training. I was training for the Olympics for 2008, ended up getting injured.
Oh
A
man.
lot of athletes ended up getting injured that year because we were all overtraining because it was in Beijing. And
Ah,
then you
yeah.
had another host of athletes. If you can remember that far back, some people, your listeners will probably remember that was the year that we lost every sprint event in 2008. And what a lot of people don't understand is it's because the majority my teammates, people I was training with, and other people who were training for the Olympics for the US, got busted. A lot of people got busted for steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was your year of Marion Jones,
Mm-hmm.
John Crawford, which was, I believe, her husband, and so many others. So I was depressed at first due to my injury, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? More than half the people I was training with that I know, they got busted for steroids. So it's like, all right. And
Either
then got
one
into
or the
personal
other.
training. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was still depressive, I have to say, because I trained 3 years every day of my life for that.
Wow. That's
So
hardcore.
it hurt. And then
What was
left
your
there.
injury?
You know what? I never hurt myself. It was one of those things where your body just says enough.
Mm.
So most people who are training for the Olympics, they train right around the age of usually they're either fresh out of high school, most are fresh out of college or in college. Every now and then you get some high school phenoms, but they're typically between the ages of about maybe 19 and maybe 23.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't start training for the Olympics until I was 28.
Oh wow.
So mind you, I'd been an athlete since 5 years old, since I was able to pick up a basketball, and I played
Yeah.
probably three or four different sports my entire life. So you get to 28, and then now you're starting a training routine that is more intense than anything you've ever experienced or your body,
Yeah.
your body as a whole. And my body was like, dude, we've got, 20 something years worth of this training is tough. And just my knee gave out. So I ended up
Oh man.
straining the vastus lateralis, vastus medialis. Um,
Mhm.
more of a, it wasn't a tear. It was just more of a strain right at the ligaments, right where
Yeah.
the big ligaments attached to the knee. So I could sprint full speed, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was a long jumper, I couldn't plant and lift.
Oh yeah, that's critical.
So by the time I figured that out, there wasn't enough time to just focus on trying to train for sprints
Yeah.
because we're talking 2 months shy of Olympic trials. So, but
So that ended your Olympic career?
yes, yes, because the next Olympics would have came around, I would have been 32,
Mm.
and the injury was just one of those things. Like it took forever, and even now I still have challenges from it.
Yeah, I had a meniscus tear in my knee
I've
and
had that.
I had to get surgery. Luckily
Okay.
they did the orthoscopic and
Yeah.
they were able to just clean it up a little bit. They didn't have to remove everything, which was good.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it took like a full year to
Yeah.
really feel 100% again. It took a lot of physical therapy, a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah. I've had a strain before, and
yeah.
I had a strain. My brother tore his tore it on one side and it rolled over to the other.
Ooh, that's so painful.
Yeah, so immediate surgery, similar to your
Hmm.
situation, a year or so
Yeah.
recoveries.
So then, after your injury,
Hmm.
what direction did you go from there?
So I left North Carolina because that was our training grounds, and then
Yeah.
I ended up moving to my mother's place for maybe 2 months because I was still de highly depressed, borderline
Yeah.
alcoholic, had never
Hmm.
been a drinker in my life.
Oh,
But
wow.
and then I moved back to New York, where I'm originally from.
Hmm.
My one of my uncles, our family owned a brownstone there that we've had 50, 60 years, so they had an open apartment, so they let me move there. So I kind of got back in my groove and I wanted to do something, but my friend who was a personal trainer, he said, "Well, why don't you be a personal trainer?" I said, "I don't want to train athletes because it was too close."
Hmm.
It was like I felt like I would be training people to do what I couldn't do it at that time.
Yeah, that's
And
tough.
mentally, I couldn't handle it. He was like, "No, no, no. Work with regular people, normal people who just need help with nutrition, fitness, and staying in shape." And I was like, okay.
Hmm.
So I started that. And then eventually that kind of just spiraled into working in over 20 different countries as a fitness specialist, helped with introducing. I try not to take all the credit, even though it was a situation where there was no. So, for example, I started working with a lot of people in Saudi Arabia. It pure again, a lot of stuff purely by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, a young lady had started following me on Instagram, and at that
Hmm.
time, this is when Instagram was fresh. And
Yeah.
I was one of the first online personal trainers who were promoting, using Instagram to promote a business as opposed to just regular pictures. So she found it, thought it'd be cool,
Hmm.
show, post a couple of pictures. I saw them, I laughed. I didn't say anything to her. We had a short little conversation. She shared my information, ended up with, I think it was like 4,000 followers within about 30 minutes. I had to turn my phone off.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, because at that time, Saudi Arabia did not have a fitness scene. So
Okay.
it was try to work out a little bit or surgery. And a lot of women were doing the surgery, but what was happening, the women were
Mm.
dying on the table.
Oh, wow. Like weight loss surgeries?
Yeah, weight loss. Yeah,
Yeah.
just weight loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them was weight loss. Some of them which they were trying to achieve a body so that their husbands wouldn't leave them.
Mm.
Like there was a lot of that. There were women who were ready to commit suicide because they were afraid their husband was going to leave them because they didn't have the body that they see on TV.
Yeah.
So I started working with a large community out there, and it got to the point where all of a sudden, I mean, you can't have an American working with, starting a fitness scene in a country like Saudi Arabia without, the expressed interest or control of the country.
Hmm.
So you start seeing gyms pop up here and there. You start seeing personal
Wow.
trainers and girls, and I've had instances where 3 or 4 girls would follow me, pay me for a nutrition and fitness program, and
Hmm.
then go sell it to other girls.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I've had
That's
at least
scandalous.
2 to 3. Yeah. But at that time there was nothing. So that kind of really moved me forward. But then, like I mentioned, I was helping the girl who had issues with suicide.
Hmm.
That's when I started doing a lot of coaching with the personal training. And then they
Yeah.
just kind of went hand in hand. And then now I'm leaning more towards the coaching aspect, the mental strength, the using the skills, the different techniques that we were taught as professional athletes,
Hmm.
to control our minds, control our bodies, control our environments, and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
That's nice.
yep, that's where we are now.
And so you've developed your course into the Olympic mindset is
Yes.
what you call it.
Yes.
So
I call it
what
the
are
Olympic
the
mindset system.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so what are the kind of key strategies that you like to focus on in your program?
So one of the key things that I focus on, specifically, one of the first things is mental adaptation. So
Hmm.
what that is if you've depending on where you've grown up in, like if you've grown up in hostile environments, urban environments. Um, One of the first things you're taught, especially as young men, you're taught how to understand your environment. You're taught how to manipulate your environment, pull resources, things like that. So as Olympic, we were training for the Olympics. The mindset that we were taught was first was mental adaptation. If I put you in a situation, what do you see? How do
Mhm.
you manipulate that environment to benefit you on your competition day? So, for example, we go to a place that's cold.
Mhm.
Instead of saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm cold," you accept the fact that it is cold. Now, what
Right.
can we do to adapt to this specific environment? Okay, we're here and it's hot. What can we do? Okay, the surface is horrible. What can we do
Yeah.
to adapt to it to give ourselves the best opportunity to be successful? So mental adaptation, adversity training. So, and this spans into business. This spans into if you're trying to be a coach, if you're just your regular work environment, if you have employees, if you're starting a fitness business, or
Mhm.
adversity training is being able to prepare or being able to be ready for situations that could occur. Some people may say, "Oh, okay, is that wishing upon bad things to happen?" Well, no, that's preparing.
Right.
So it's just like I compare it to I created a product some years ago, and it was a headphone product. And one of the key things that I did was before I submitted my patent for it, I
Mhm.
stopped and something was like, give yourself 2 weeks. So I waited 2 weeks. And what I did within that 2 weeks was instead of talking about how great it was and what it can do, I focused on how can someone take this from me? This is adversity training. What
Mm.
can go wrong? How can someone get around my idea?
Yeah.
And
It's
I
like
sat there for 2 weeks and just,
I like that.
yeah.
It's like preparing for the worst, but planning
Hmm.
for the best.
Planning for the
It's just
best. So if the
yeah,
worst does happen,
you're ready.
you're ready. You're
Yeah.
prepared. You've weighed out every potential scenario.
Mhm.
And that goes with doing a speech. That goes with doing presentations, workshops. That goes with, like I said, starting your business. It all works the same. So those are a few
Right.
elements of the um, Olympic mindset system.
Yeah, I think that adversity training is really critical, but a
Hmm.
lot of people focus too much on that. I think they stress out about everything that can go wrong before they
Hmm.
even start, and it
Yeah.
just, you know, freezes them so they can't move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Are there any tips that you recommend for people that are kind of in that place?
Yeah. Because I used to be that way where, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. This could happen. But the tip that I would say is start with what could happen that'll be phenomenal. And then then instead of thinking, oh my gosh, but this could happen, say, okay, how do I prepare for this potentially happen?
Mm,
Okay, if
mm-hmm.
this happens, what do we do?
Yeah,
Most people, it's, oh my gosh, what if this happens? But there's a second part, which is, okay, then what?
you get stuck.
I always tell people the story when I was homeless in LA. First off, I tell them I ended up homeless within a year of moving to LA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, within a year I was homeless.
How did
Luckily,
that
my car was
happen?
paid off,
Yeah.
but that wasn't that great because I'm 6'3.5" and I was driving a Mustang. So
Yeah, it doesn't give you a lot of options.
no. And I'm in a two-door Mustang and I have all of my things behind me. I have
Hmm.
video of things like hit me in the back of the head as I'm driving like this.
Right.
But I tell people when I and this goes back to the mental adaptation as well. Once I was homeless, it wasn't the, oh my gosh, I'm this, I'm that. I can't believe it. Oh, let me call. It was more of, okay, now what do we do? How
Yeah.
do we get out of this?
Hmm.
I accept the fact that I am homeless at this point. Great. Let's get
Yeah.
that out the way. It's just like a workout. I accept
Hmm.
the fact that this is going to hurt. Okay, let's get that out the way. Let's keep moving. So, and then from there, it's like, okay, I accept the fact that I'm here. This is my environment. okay, how do we get out of this?
Yeah.
How do we become not homeless? Which is not really a word, but whatever. And then that's it's like, okay, at first it's okay, let's play for this. I need to find somewhere to live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. What are our options? Okay, these are the options. Okay, great. Let's explore them. Okay, this may not work. Okay, but let's try. Okay, this worked, but we don't like the situation. Is this something we can live with? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
no. Okay, great. No.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next. So,
Nice. Yeah. When I was just starting out on changing my health,
hmm
I really struggled and the biggest thing that people say when you want to change your health is to change your diet
hmm
and to eat eat more protein and eat less
right.
carbs and all that. And it's
hmm
sometimes that can be really hard for people. I
Oh yeah,
know, especially
absolutely.
for me,
hmm
I couldn't start there. I
hmm
had to start um, with the mental space.
Yeah.
Just getting over
hmm
the idea of not being able to comfort myself with junk food and candy at night. And
hmm
so I had to start by working out and by
hmm
talking to a therapist, and they
Okay.
really helped me. They recommended meditation. I started
hmm
meditating, and that really helped me kind of get a sense of calm and have more mental bandwidth, I like to say, to deal
Yeah.
with things throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then I started a gratitude practice where I
Okay.
started
Okay.
writing down the things that I was grateful for.
hmm
I think that really helped me become more optimistic. Like you're saying, you're in the situation. Now
hmm
what? How do I start climbing out of this hole that I'm in and
Right.
fixing it? And I
Right.
think that's really critical. Are there
Yeah.
any are there any common struggles that you've seen with clients, in the beginning to start like get over that hump, that initial hump to start taking care of themselves?
A lot of people that I work with were similar situations as yourself.
Yeah.
You know, um, a lot of people, it's the mental part that people can't get. Like changing foods is one thing, but mentally being able to, like, for example, when you starting out with working out, and so when I build my programs, I focus more on the workout first
Mm-hmm.
because what I know over 26 years is that once you start working out, your body starts craving certain foods and it starts rejecting other foods. That's why people who have, let's say they eat horrible all day long, and as soon as they start working out and they try to eat something bad, immediately the body rejects it. Whether
Mm.
it's them feeling heavy, sluggish, constantly in the restroom, throwing up, feeling bad,
Yeah.
um, skin starts to break out.
Mm-hmm.
It's because, the body is requesting something different. So I always start with the mind first. We start just kind of like visualizing our goal. Then we go to the workouts. I still build the nutrition, but I don't make people go cold turkey, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's like the
It's hard.
worst way to do things. It's just like a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
Cold turkey only works for a percent of people,
Yeah.
you know. So taking it little by little, say, okay, you have sweets on what, 5 days a week? Okay, let's cut that down to 3 days a week and
Mm-hmm.
then focus on the rest here. Okay, now let's cut it to two. Okay, now let's cut it to one. Eventually,
Yeah.
they don't crave these things. So,
Right. Yeah. I always struggle with cravings.
yeah.
Um, and then in January I did carnivore for World Carnivore Month.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar.
And that really helped me cut down on a lot of the cravings.
hmm
And
hmm
I eat really low carb. I mostly just eat meat and fruit now.
Okay,
But before, I was eating hot flaming Cheetos. I was
yeah.
eating peanut butter M&Ms. I mean, I just couldn't get enough of that stuff.
hmm
And even just like bread. and rice and potatoes, the starchy carbs. But
Yes. Yeah.
after I did that elimination diet, a
Hmm.
lot of those cravings went away. And it's really incredible how you can change your microbiome in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you have any experience with that?
Um, Me personally, food wise, no, because from I would say unique in my family. Everyone else in my family, yes, has struggled and had those similar challenges, but I didn't have an addictive personality. But I
Yeah.
also say at the same time, I think it was partly a little bit of ADHD
Mm-hmm.
because I can easily shift from a conversation to picking up my Rubik's Cube and just going to work. Say, okay, hey, what's this? Like I kind of have that type of thing. So I've never been addicted to one thing or the other. So
Yeah.
I'm able to switch and change things on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
But client wise, absolutely. Like one of the hardest things is like breaking and getting rid of certain cravings. But
Yeah.
again, once you get into routine at some point, he's like, you know what, I'm able to break this. And you realize that it's a mental thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily, oh, okay, my body, like, no. Start with your mind, work out, food. Your body craves this. Give it what it needs. You can have your days that you celebrate. I always tell people,
Yeah.
take take a meal or so and just have whatever you want. As
Mm-hmm. I
long as
call them,
everything else is lining up, of course.
yeah, I call them flex meals.
They're great word for it.
Yeah.
Great
A lot of
word.
people call them cheat meals.
Yeah,
And it's just like cheating's bad. It has a negative connotation. You're
it
not
does.
cheating, you're flexing. You don't want to feel bad about allowing
Mhm.
yourself to eat some things that you like once in a while.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a great way to look at it. I think that's a great term. I mean,
yeah,
you might have to
thank
coin that
you.
one because that's a
I
good
know I'm
one.
about to copyright.
Yeah. Before someone goes and makes a business out of it.
Someone in Saudi Arabia is gonna copy my term,
Yeah.
start selling it. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like those little things that are
Hmm.
so important. I heard
Yes.
a quote the other day. It's better to change 10 things 1% than try to change one thing 10%. Just change 10 things just a little bit every
Hmm.
day,
Yeah.
and that'll, make you so much more successful than trying to change one thing more. And I really advocate for that
Hmm.
with my clients. I try to tell them, start slow,
Yes.
change one thing just
Hmm.
every day, try to improve a little bit. And
Yes.
that's the key, because some people, they get really excited, like, I want to lose weight. I want to,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
doctor said I'm pre-diabetic and I don't want to get diabetes. So I'm gonna start
Mhm.
working out. I'm gonna cut my calories. I'm gonna eat, just chicken and
Yeah.
rice and veggies, and they
Mhm.
get burnt out,
Yeah.
and it's not
Yeah.
sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think
100%
about
right.
that?
Yeah. That's again, that's very popular because a lot of people that most of the people that I work with, I could say now that I think about it, I could probably say 90% are over 35 or
Yeah.
almost 40. So
Hmm.
they're in that realm where nutrition is key. And
Yeah.
I work with a lot of women. So we're talking thyroid issues,
Mm.
diabetic, um, pre and post natal. So that's a pretty popular thing. Say, okay, doctor says this. I need to cut my cholesterol. I need to do this. Okay, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna do that. I'm throwing everything out, and I'm like, just gonna seem counterproductive. Just take this little by little.
Hmm.
I'll build you something, and we can gradually get you out. Because the one
Yeah.
way to test a person, I guess their will is saying, how many times have you restarted? And
Yeah.
a lot of people will tell you two times, three times, four times.
Mm.
Okay, now I'm going to do it right. Now I'm going to, and it's because those last few times they try to go cold turkey, cut everything. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. You
You
need
know?
something that's sustainable, something
Yeah.
that you can live and do the rest of
Mhm.
your life and still
Yeah.
enjoy and be happy.
Exactly. I mean, and I like to use the, 21 days to break a habit. I like to call it,
Hmm.
for me, I use a time frame of 14 to 21 because I
Okay.
also utilize that in my training programs. Because of what
Hmm.
I've noticed fitness wise and nutrition wise is that once you put somebody on a routine, you're likely to see the peak of if they're giving you 100%, you're going to see the peak of their results typically within about 14 days, sometimes less, depending on how fast a person's body reacts.
Yeah.
But that 14 to 21 days, you're going to see the bulk of the results. So I kind of lead people more into that. So, okay, let's just go little by little, do what we can, and
Hmm.
just take our time with growing. First 21 days, first 14 days.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the next one, and we'll gradually build you up top.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what does your diet look like?
For me, I'm one of those people who are boring. I'm one of those people who can eat the same thing almost every
Yeah.
day. So for me, it's chicken, fish. And I with chicken, I rotate between chicken thighs, boneless thighs, chicken breast.
Hmm.
If I want to spoil myself, I'll go get like wings and throw it
Yeah.
in the air fryer, But chicken, fish, I do a lot of salmon. Um, I do catfish from time to time, but
Mm.
let me see what else is there. Veggies, so your typical spinach. I'm not a big veggie person, so
Yeah.
the ones I
Same
like from
here.
my childhood are the ones I still eat now. So it's like your broccoli, green beans, spinach.
Hmm.
Um, that's about it. My girlfriend got me eating calabas. It's like it looks like a cucumber, but it's a little bit different. I can't. It's a squash. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like a
like
green squash.
Mexican squash. I think I've
Yeah,
seen it
yeah,
like at the store.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's called
Nice.
calabacita, but yeah, it's like a Mexican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and I'll eat that. Those are like my
Yeah.
typical veggies. I'll throw in some like red or yellow pepper just to get some color in there.
Hmm.
Rice. I will do standard rice, but I'm also fairly lean and tall.
Yeah.
I'll do rice and I'll do potatoes where I like boil the actual potato, cut it up, something like that. Um, that's about I stay right around in that range. Turkey, I love
Hmm.
turkey as well.
Yeah.
I'm not a sugar guy. I'm more salt than anything.
Hmm.
So I don't have sweets in my house. So when my girlfriend comes, I have to buy them for her. I think the only
Nice.
sweets that I have are like, oh gosh, maybe like a cran grape juice. But even
Mm.
that, I dilute it with half water.
Yeah.
I'm not getting too much sugar. Um,
Yeah.
Fruits, papaya,
Oh
banana.
man, I love papaya.
Oh, me too. Me too. It's like my favorite snack.
Enzymes are so good for digestion.
Yes,
If
exactly.
you're blocked up, it's
Hmm.
really good. It's really
Yeah, go
helpful.
get your papaya.
Definitely.
That'll get you loose.
Right.
But yeah, that's my typical
So
meal. Yeah.
so you stick with primarily like lean meats, sounds like?
Yes. Yeah. I stay fairly lean. Yeah. Every now and then I'll have a steak, but
Yeah.
I like to keep myself fairly lean, fairly light on my feet, for the most part.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, like I said, I'm eating mostly meat and
Hmm.
fruit
Yeah.
and of course eggs and
Right,
dairy,
right. Eggs. Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
heavy cream in my coffee and
Okay.
been making an ice cream that I make in the blender and I just use
Oh,
frozen
cool.
fruit and cream
Yeah.
and it's so good.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
man.
I'll have to try that one out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm working on my cookbook, so I'm
Hmm.
finalizing all the recipes, but I'll
Yeah, I
send you
saw
the
that. I saw
blender
that
ice
on your
cream one.
website. Yeah, that you were working on a cookbook. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, my wife and I have been eating really good testing all these recipes. 'Cause I usually cook by eye, and so now
Yeah.
writing out the recipes for the book, it's like I got to go back and I got to measure everything and I got to make
Yeah.
sure it's right. So it's a lot of work, but it's
Mhm.
a passion of mine, so I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah. And it'll definitely be worth it too. You know,
Yeah.
people appreciate that, especially the direction that you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. So are there any podcasts you like to listen to or you'd recommend?
Let me see. What typical podcast I like to listen to? I'm kind of in my creative stage, but I do like to listen to oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher his name. Well, his last name. Uh is it Les Brown?
Okay,
Yes.
what does he talk
His
about?
his is more of like a lot of motivation. He was a if I'm saying yeah, Les Brown. Yeah, Les Mills is a workout place. Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, he does a lot of motivation speaking. From his past, I think he grew up with a lot of disabilities and needed speech therapy and but was able to kind of surpass that. Now he teaches people like speaking and coaching, his coaching programs, stuff like that. So I follow that. There's a site called Above Inspiration, which is one
Hmm.
of the things I love the most, one of my favorite podcasts. Let's see, what else are there? There's some really good ones that I watch.
Do you ever listen to the Joe Rogan Experience?
Yeah, I'm a Joe fan. He got some wild guests.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'm a fan because Joe, one thing I like about Joe, for the most part, he plays right down the center.
Hmm.
He doesn't try to overpower his podcast guests. He kind of
Yeah.
lets them kind of just do their thing and he'll build off of it. So I like Joe Rogan. He does pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. He does some of the silly episodes,
Yeah.
the protect your parks, and then he has on, really,
Mhm.
smart scientists and
Yes.
there's just a really nice variety.
Yeah. And I didn't know much about Joe until I got to know him a little bit better through his relationship with Joey Diaz.
Yeah.
Uh,
Joey Diaz is a character. Oh my God,
Hilarious.
that guy's so funny.
Yeah, and let's see, I'm from New York, and if I remember correctly, he's from Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think so.
yeah, so their relationship and some of their stuff together is just hilarious. So I love
Oh
watching.
yeah, definitely. Me too. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So we've got a few minutes left.
Okay.
Wanted to ask you, what's like your biggest aha moment working with a client?
Ooh, biggest aha moment.
Like the
For them
biggest,
or for myself?
either way,
Either way.
a
Okay.
big breakthrough or just a realization. Just
Um, I guess you could say when they realize that, like I've had clients who are just frustrated with work when they realize they have a lot of skills that they have not been using. And even with
mm,
myself, I find that sometimes that there are so many things that I've done over the years that you tend to forget your strengths. So one of the things is helping people realize, wait a minute, I'm stronger, I'm powerful, I can do this, I have this asset. Wait, why didn't I use that before?
hmm.
So, and then watching them just progress is just phenomenal for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So just like utilizing skills that you have that you might not
Right.
think that they could be applied to a certain situation.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's cool. Yeah, definitely. We all have a lot of, we all have skills, something that we're really good at, and
Yeah.
using it,
Yeah. Some
applying
people
it to
forget.
the right situation is
Hmm.
can be really helpful.
That's
Great.
right.
So where can listeners learn more about you and connect with you?
Yes. So you can find me on all of my social media is I am Shaun Spencer, which is
Hmm.
SHAUN.
Okay.
And of course my website is just ShaunJSpencer.com. But yeah, yeah, I am Shaun Spencer all over social media. So
Sweet. Very cool. And I just wanted to let people know that we're looking for a co-host for the show, for the Health Unfiltered podcast. So if anyone's interested, you can DM me on Instagram at Josh D Noland, and we can go from there. And we're also looking for more guests, coaches or doctors or researchers, anyone who's
Hmm.
knowledgeable about health and fitness. So you can reach out there as well. So yeah, thank you so much for being on with us today, Sean. I
Absolutely.
really enjoyed our
Absolutely.
conversation. We'll have to
Same
do it
here.
again sometime soon.
Anytime. Just let me know.
All right. Thank you.